Jonathan Kuminga is becoming a hell of a player right before our very eyes, averaging 15.5 points per game while shooting a ridiculous 53.6% from the field. The explosive youngster has established himself as a core member of the Golden State Warriors rotation this season. Currently, Kuminga is the third highest scorer on the team behind Klay, Thompson, and Steph Curry. But if we teleport back to 2021, when he was drafted as the 7th pick, nobody would have predicted that this would happen, at least not this quickly. So, join us in this video as we go back in time to see the 6 players who were drafted over Jonathan Kuminga. Were they really better than him? And how has their career turned out so far? Kuminga's time at the Golden State Warriors has been nothing short of a fairy tale. At the end of his second season with the team, the power forward had racked up 137 regular season NBA appearances, 26 playoff appearances, and a championship ring. Most youngsters would have been satisfied with this achievement and probably be happy to warm the bench. But certainly not Jonathan Kuminga. Ahead of his third season in the league, the Congolese set his sights on becoming a key player for the Warriors, and that's exactly what happened. Between October and November, Kuminga had played 18 games, averaging 11 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 0.9 assists per game. The 6'7" power forward extended this form into December, scoring 14.2 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 1.5 assists across 13 games. However, a few days into the new year, reports emerged that Kuminga had lost faith in Steve Kerr. Apparently, he was annoyed by the fact that Kerr took him off in the third quarter and kept him on the bench as the Golden State Warriors threw away an 18-point lead and fell to defeat against the Nuggets. But thankfully, the situation was quickly nipped in the bud after a face-to-face meeting between Kerr and Kuminga. And since then, Jonathan Kuminga has become a key player on the team. His average minutes have gone up from 21.6 minutes per game in October 2023 to 33.4 minutes per game in the 5 games he's played this February.
I'm so impressed with what he's done, and he's really becoming a hell of a player.
Right now, Kuminga is seen as an untouchable asset for the Warriors, and he seems to be getting better and better with every game. But can we really say the same about the 6 players that were drafted over him? Well, let's find out. The 2021 NBA draft was loaded with talent, but one player stood out as the clear favorite, and it's none other than Cade Cunningham. Prior to his selection as the overall #1 pick by the Detroit Pistons, Cunningham bagged high ratings from scouts and analysts. One anonymous NBA general manager called him a game changer, while The Ringer described him as a franchise-changing offensive orchestrator with smooth scoring skills, versatile defense, and a winning mentality. And even though he only had 2 points, 2 assists, and 7 rebounds in his NBA debut, Cunningham finished his rookie season with an average of 17.4 points per game. He became the youngest player in Pistons history and the 8th youngest player in NBA history to record a triple-double. He was also named MVP for the Rising Stars Challenge and finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Season rankings. The next season, Cunningham averaged 19.9 points despite playing just 12 games due to injury. So far this season, he's averaging 22.4 points. And at 22, I believe his best years are still ahead of him. But he might need to leave the Detroit Pistons to achieve his full potential. Drafted as the 2nd overall pick by the Houston Rockets, Jalen Green is a player that divides opinion. Green's selection was historic, given that he was the first ever player to be drafted from the G League. And understandably, a lot of people worried he might not be able to cope with the step up to the NBA. But the scouts seem to be hyped up about him. One source called Green a highlight reel waiting to happen and a player who can score from all over the court. Another report hailed Green as the most explosive scorer in the 2021 draft class, while an unnamed NBA exec said he has the potential to become a scoring champion. To be honest, we saw flashes of these qualities in his rookie season. During this stellar campaign, Green became the youngest player to post 30 points and 8 threes in a single game in the history of the Rockets. Despite a few injury troubles, he averaged 17.3 points per game that season. But as the scouts also correctly predicted, his defense and overall technique were not exactly impressive. So far, those weaknesses are still visible in his game. Nonetheless, the Rockets are not giving up on him just yet. On the contrary, they're hoping that Jalen Green can get his groove back and deliver on the promise he showed in G League. With the 3rd overall pick, the Cavs selected Evan Mobley, a player who was described as a versatile two-way big with a clear path to being an elite defender and the long-term potential to be a go-to scorer. Mobley lived up to this hype on his NBA debut, scoring 17 points in the loss against the Memphis Grizzlies in October 2021. 2 months later, he became the first rookie in the history of the franchise to have 5 blocks in an NBA game since LeBron James did it in 2004. More impressively, Mobley started all 69 games he featured in while averaging 15 points per game. Unfortunately, the power forward finished just behind Scottie Barnes in the rating for the Rookie of the Year. In the 2022-23 campaign, Mobley's shooting improved slightly, averaging 16.2 points. This season, Mobley's averaging 15.9 points while shooting an incredible 58.4% from the field. If he carries on this form, he'll definitely go on to be one of the top bigs in the NBA. Going into the 2021 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors were expected to grab Jalen Suggs, but instead they selected Scottie Barnes with the 4th overall pick in what turned out to be a genius move. At the end of his rookie season, Barnes was averaging 15.3 points on 35.4 minutes per game. And deservedly, he was named Rookie of the Year, becoming the 3rd player in the history of the franchise to win the award. The next season, Barnes averaged the exact same number of points he averaged in his rookie season, despite playing 3 more games. But there was absolutely no doubt about his talents or how valuable he is to the Raptors. Now in his 3rd season, Barnes is posting 20.1 points per game on 47.4% shooting. He's also averaging 8.0 rebounds and 5.8 assists. On February 6, 2024, Scottie Barnes was announced as an injury replacement player for the NBA All-Star Game, a testament to his exceptional talent and consistent performances since he joined the league. He's proven to be one of the best players to emerge from the 2021 NBA draft class, and everyone seems to agree that there are more levels to his game that he's yet to unleash. After being snubbed by the Raptors, Jalen Suggs was snapped up by the Orlando Magic as the 5th overall pick. Even before he stepped on the court, the scouts had predicted big things for Suggs. The Ringer's scouting report highlighted his high IQ, excellent skill, and athleticism, which, in their words, makes him an NBA-ready player with an all-star upside. Suggs showed these qualities as he averaged 24 points in his very first game in the league. However, a fractured right thumb in November 2021 saw him miss 20 games. Another injury in April 2022 ultimately ruled Suggs out for the rest of the season. This meant he finished his rookie season averaging just 11.8 points per game. However, he showed his talents as a facilitator with 4.4 assists while also averaging 3.6 rebounds. An injury in preseason would set the stage for a disappointing second season in the NBA for Suggs, where he averaged just 9.9 points. This season, Jalen Suggs has been able to stay healthy, and he's averaging 12.2 points per game on 44.5% shooting from the field. But, as at this moment, he looks more likely to become a role player than a superstar. Drafted by the OKC Thunder as the 6th overall pick, Josh Giddey showed quite a lot of promise in the Australian National Basketball League, and his brilliant performances didn't go unnoticed. The Ringer called him a tall playmaker with the ability to make any pass on the court. However, they also expressed concerns about his shooting and defense. Giddey put these concerns to rest with a commanding rookie season where he averaged 12.5 points. Despite being a rookie, Giddey led OKC in assists and rebounds per game. By the time he clocked 100 career games, Giddey had tallied 1,000 points, 700 rebounds, and 500 assists. Only Luka Doncic, Ben Simmons, and Grant Hill were able to tally such incredible numbers within the first 100 games of their career. Giddey ended his second season in the NBA averaging 16.6 points per game. Although his numbers seem to have slightly dipped this season, Giddey's versatility and elite passing skills make him a real asset for the Thunders. And if he continues to develop at this pace, you've got a feeling that he could go on to do big things in the NBA. When you look back in hindsight, you can understand why some of these players were drafted over Kuminga. But what if we were to redo the 2021 draft? Do you think Kuminga would have been drafted earlier?